Agent Romanov. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey, everyone.
Hey everybody, welcome back to FilmArtsy. We've got something really special today, and that is an incredible interview with Mr. Thom Williams, the two-time Emmy-nominated stunt coordinator, currently working on the hit series Doom Patrol Season 3, coming out soon. We're so thankful for his time. He's been in the industry for over 25 years, working on Marvel, DC, and everything else in between. So Thom, thank you so much for being here today.
Trevor, I appreciate it. Hi to everyone out in FilmArtsy. I appreciate you having me.
Thom, you probably get this question a lot, but what was it like to break into an industry like stunts? You've been in it for like over 25 years. You've been very successful. Is this just something you always wanted to do as a kid? Or did you wake up one day and say, I want to do stunts? What was your journey like to becoming what you are today?
It was all happenstance. I mean, a running joke, I literally fell into it. I was studying criminal justice and psychology in college. I was on the cheerleading squad, and a friend of mine who was also on the squad, she got a summer job doing a live stunt show at Six Flags over Texas. So she brought me out, introduced me around. I was checking it out, ended up working there for the summer, and I was just doing it as a summer job and just loved it. All of a sudden, nothing else mattered. Wanted to continue doing stunts, so I moved out to LA from Texas, and 25 years later, here we are.
I think that's super cool because I think some people think that you have to wake up at like 3 years old and every step of your path is just do it, and every choice you make has to work towards that. So it's encouraging to see that you got a summer opportunity and it led to you discovering what you love, and then you did do the necessary work that got you there, but it came later in life, so that's pretty cool. Do you mind sharing with us, when you're going to a film or a movie, what is the process like, kind of start to finish, a bird's eye view of that when you're getting started on a new project?
We'll have meetings early on before the season starts. It'll start with myself and the showrunner, in this case, 𝘠𝘪𝘭𝘮𝘪, who created the show. So Jeremy and I will talk before the season, kind of scope of work, characters, what they're gonna do, their character arc. And we actually have a very organized writing staff. So we usually have most of the scripts before we get anywhere near production, which is great because we can sit there and break down the scripts, start to figure out what I'm gonna need personnel-wise. I carry a pretty large team for Doom Patrol because there's so many characters in super suits and these specific costumes that they literally, no one else can wear them. The suit for Riley, who's the in-suit actor, and then there's the suit for Micah, the stunt double, and that's it. You got to make sure they're available, and who you're going to have, and all the other parts, the auxiliary utility parts. Okay, if we're going to need a bunch of people here to fight Robot Man or Jane, and wire work. There's a lot of wire work on the show. So all these discussions happen once I talk to Jeremy, and then I sit down breaking down the scripts, talking to my team, then going over choreography and what we're going to have coming up. We'll start doing previs. So if you don't know what previs is, the animation visual effects departments do it, but we do it too. We'll do a stunt previs, and basically what will happen is I'll take and I'll shoot the whole action sequence. I'll design it, we'll shoot it, edit it, I'll turn it into the bosses. So that's a big part of the pre-production process, is prevising action scenes, making sure we're going in the right direction. And sometimes we'll later on shoot it pretty much shot for shot, or if I'm directing it, I'll pretty much shoot my own stuff for the second time, which makes it real quick and easy.
You really have to have an understanding then of how the director thinks, the way the cameras are set up, angles. I mean, really shot by shot, that production that happens there, it's some of those things you see in the show are you. That's you coming out of your brain.
Very, very much so. And stunt coordinators in the last several years especially, we've had to really up our game and broaden our knowledge. I mean, we have to know how to shoot things. We have to know how to edit things on top of our normal job. So it actually makes it a lot of fun because I want to be a well-rounded filmmaker. I want to move into directing. So the more I do in this realm, the more it helps me understand that broader job.
I didn't understand that aspect of it. You know, you just think stunt coordination is the fights and those kind of things. You don't realize the planning and the process involved and the understanding you have to have. It's really a vast amount of understanding. Now, I know Doom Patrol is big for our audience. I enjoy it myself. What was it like going to a project like Doom Patrol? You look at a script like that, you're like, oh my word, there's just so much going on. What attracted you to that particular project?
Well, I'm a comic nerd. I have been since I was a little kid. So, and I've gotten to do so many comic projects in the last several years. And it was just a random out of the blue phone call from the producer because someone had recommended me. I get the call for Doom, and I was very familiar with the property and the comics and all that. So I was like, I hope they do this justice and they don't screw it up. And I read the first script and I was like, okay, they are definitely not screwing this up. Took the job and just had an absolute blast. It's really one of those jobs where it's so much fun that you can't believe you're getting paid to do it.
Incredible. Yeah. I'll be honest too, like I'm a comic junkie. It's so refreshing to hear. It's encouraging to hear that someone who's working on a project like Doom Patrol, like you got a whole knowledge of the property. You love it. You're passionate about it. The one thing you said, you're like, I hope they don't mess this up because you know the comics. And I think it really tells in the show. It communicates because you can tell when someone who worked on something that they didn't know the property and they didn't care. And that's, I think, especially with Doom Patrol, it really comes out. You're like, this show clearly was loved by those who love what Doom Patrol is, which is great. Now, talking about Doom Patrol, it is quite a motley crew of superheroes. They all kind of crappy superheroes. And when it comes to them, they're a pretty diverse cast of characters. Superhero-wise, they are all different size, shapes, and abilities. So when you're coming up with stunts, how do you take into consideration their size, their structure? Do you draw inspiration from fighting styles in real life? How does that get all turned into unique coordination for each character?
Yeah, you definitely want to do some research and figure out different styles. Cliff was a lot of fun because it was basically like, okay, redneck brawler. He probably doesn't know how to fight too well, but he thinks he does. But now he's in this indestructible body, so he can just demolish things. But then when he comes up against something stronger, he just gets his ass kicked and thrown all over the place. With Rita, she's a lot of fun. And, April's a doll, and she's not really a fighter per se. And it's funny because she really carries a lot of the heart and soul of the show. Yes. When she has that bits of action, it's really trying to figure out, okay, get the Rita Farr of it and really make sure it punctuates what she's doing as a character. With Jane, 64 different personalities. So honestly, she's far and above one of the most fun characters I've had to deal with because each one has its own little quirks. Yeah. So when we get a script, okay, well, we're going to need Hammerhead in this one and Flaming Katie, whoever. Got to figure out different styles because they're all going to have their different eccentricities that Diane's going to throw in. So these always involve a lot of discussions with the actors also. So if I know I have stuff coming up, I'm going to set aside time with them and discuss the scenes because honestly, they're so damn good at this. Yeah. They're so good at these characters. I want them as involved as possible in the process and figuring out what they want to do. And then, you got Vic. My thought going in with him was, okay, he's got access to everything in his head. So he's obviously the most advanced. Yeah. So he's going to study fighting styles. He's going to have access to all this footage that he can download and almost Matrix-like incorporate into his structure. So I wish we get to do a little bit more with him because he's got some cool moves and like his introduction in episode 2, way back in season 1. he just brutally takes people out, super efficient. And it's just true kind of superhero knocking people around.
Yes.
So
You can tell that each character has such a distinct flavor. It really comes through. There's literally no similarities in the characters, like, at all. And, like, it's one of my biggest moments with the Justice League, which I'm not trying to, like, hate on any particular production, but, like, Superman could do freaking whatever half the Justice League, if not all the Justice League can do. And it just makes it not so interesting. And that's what I love about the Doom Patrol, is they're these crappy superheroes that are super diverse, and they need each other. They need all that uniqueness. Not one could do the other's ability, which makes it really, all those eccentricities of them have to be combined. So tell me what it was like when you read the script, okay? And I know it had to blow your mind. When you read the script and you saw that Cliff would be taking on Jesus in episode 9 of season 2. I mean, come on. You had to sit there and be like, what am I getting myself into?
it was literally one of those moments where I'm sitting there reading and I just put the script down and just started giggling. Because it's so ridiculous and it's so Doom Patrol.
Yes.
And at the same time, I'm just like, oh, yes, I cannot wait to get into this. It's going to be amazing. And we truly had so much fun with that fight. From designing it to taking it a little too far on a couple spots and having to reel it back to filming it. And I got to direct that whole fight sequence too. And both Riley and 𝘍𝘪𝘭𝘮𝘵 and Josh Mickle, who played Jesus, they both had so much fun with that sequence, and it made it amazing to do.
It's one of those things where you just sit there and go, that I have not seen that before. Speaking of something along those lines, something that's fascinated me is underwater choreography. And not to spoil season 2, but honestly, if you haven't seen season 2, like what are you doing? Like, go watch season 2 because season 3 is about to come out. But Diane's got a good bit of underwater moments in some of the most incredible parts of season 2. And from my understanding and some research, the process of getting trained for underwater scenes and battles and all that action is immense. So can you describe what it was like to prepare for scenes underwater with Diane Guerrero and how she did, how you made it all work? Can you just go through that process, what it was like?
Yes, that was far and above one of my favorite sequences we did. They built this giant tank at our stages. And so I immediately sent Diane off with a couple good friends of mine who were master divers. And they started with the basics, basically training her as they would someone going through a scuba course. Got her comfortable doing that. And then we started incorporating her performance underwater. Just we'd get under there on the regulator in the masks and start going through acting moments. And then I'd have her take everything off and do the same thing. Put the regulator back in, put the mask back on.
Wow.
And over the course of several days, just got her really comfortable underwater to where once we got there on the nights that we were in, it was some long hours shooting.
Yeah.
And we got out there and man, she knocked it out of the park. The lighting was beautiful. The tank looked so good under there. There was one other actress, Sarah, who played Baby Doll, and then the rest were stunt women playing the different dead personalities. Spoiler alert, sorry. And if you haven't seen it by now, come on.
Come on. It's coming out. You've got to go watch Doom Patrol. Come on.
So they all did such a good job, and Diane led that charge. We could not have gotten that scene as beautiful as it is without her under there all that time doing everything. I mean, it's her face in pretty much every single shot you see.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was super impressive. Lots of dedication from all departments for those, and yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Was that her first time doing such extensive underwater scenes like that?
I know she wasn't scuba certified.
Oh wow.
Okay. From my recollection, I don't believe she had done underwater work before.
Wow. You wouldn't know. You would not know.
Exactly. She looked just as natural under there as she does on land.
We've already alluded to it a little bit, but we do have a season 3 of Doom Patrol coming. And as a viewer of myself, and I know there's a lot of fans here, is there any way you give us like a little sneak peek behind the curtain, little dingle in the carol, anything we should be looking forward to in this upcoming season without getting any trouble?
So the official trailer dropped. It's amazingly ridiculous. We do have a fight that might be so ridiculous that it might put Robot Man and Jesus to shame.
Oh, that's a big claim. Oh man, now I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else about it. Stuff that you see in the trailer, Mark Shepard's back. He's so much fun to work with, and he's a cigar buddy. We sit out in the base camp and have cigars in between scenes, so that's my homeboy, and I'm super glad he's back. And good God, no one is ready for Michelle Gomez. Playing Madame Rouge. I mean, that woman is a force of nature and is just going to rock your socks off for season 3. So
I feel like that's the clip, right? Like, if you haven't watched Doom Patrol, you better go watch it, because that tee up for season 3 is incredible. I'm so excited. Well, we are so excited. I know personally, I'm just giddy. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited myself to just see this, to see season 3, and to just have this perspective that behind the scenes is awesome. Yeah, we gotta definitely link to the trailer. Like, there's gotta be a card or something, editor. And I really appreciate your time. I know as we get to the close end of this interview, I think about someone like you who's in the industry, and someone might be watching this and thinking, well, how do I get into something like this? Where do I start? What would you say to someone who wants to break into this industry, who sees what you're doing, living out the dream? You're making your comic book childhood favorites come to life. What does it take to get from where you were to where you are, and where would someone start?
Everyone in stunts comes from different backgrounds. Some people have elite sporting backgrounds. Some are motocross riders, elite gymnasts, all kinds of stuff. So there's no one true strict path. I came from live shows and then got into film and TV. There's some stunt schools out there. There are, like I said, the live show route. You just got to be dedicated, and you got to have patience, and you have to train your ass off. It is one of the most dangerous jobs in the business, and it's my job as the coordinator to make sure everyone goes home just how they came in, to make sure they go home safe, and the performers also to make sure they take care of themselves. It's definitely rough. It's rough on the body. It's rough on the mind and soul with the long hours sometimes. So just be ready to put in the work that's going to be needed to make this a true career.
Thank you, Thom, for being here. Thank you, everyone. FilmArtsy, as always, if you like this video and you want to have more, you can subscribe, turn on notifications, because we're trying to give this content on the daily. Thom, once again, thank you for being here.